This is Josh, and you are watching Guitars Ruin Lives. It's a national fact. This is going to be a short one. The flavor is yet to be determined, but we're just trying to hang out with this Paul Reed Smith SE Pulse guitar with my vintage DiMarzio Super Distortion and PAF and volume and no tone controls, just to kind of see what it's like through my Ampeg Reverberocket 2x12 50-watt all-tube amplifier. PAF is flipping beautiful. Still sounds like a Paul Reed Smith, even in the SE model. Scale length combined with all the components that they use and whatever the other tomfoolery magic they put into these things, it's got that warm but really woody open sound when you're low on the neck. That's a trademark Paul Reed Smith sound. And the note bloom. Not the only brand that does it, but nobody does it like Paul Reed Smith. This natural, incredible harmonic overtone bloom that happens on these guitars is unreal. Check out the Super Distortion right quick. Ooh, it's real out of tune. How did the Super Distortion do that? I tune in fourths. I don't tune my guitar in fourths, my ear tunes in fourths. We could talk about that another time. Yes, it's still out of tune. Thank you for noticing. Another thing you might notice, hard to tell with the iPhone audio and all this, but the vintage Super Distortions are way different than a modern Super Distortion. I don't have a scientific test. Oh my God, I'm showing so much skin. I didn't know. Now I know all these people watching these videos. So, you know, I haven't A-B'd it. It's not like I've taken this guitar and recorded it with a perfect setup and then like uninstalled and put a new Super Distortion, but the new Super Distortions are much more compressed. This old one, I mean, if you hear it, it's still very powerful and loud, but it's not nearly as muddy. It's a much more vintage sound, even though it's loud and hot. It's not compressed, it's not stuffy, it's not muddy. Now, those all sound like good things, and I think they are. The downside, if there is one, is that it doesn't quite sing and push in the same way on single notes that a modern one would. But still, I definitely prefer this. For the record, I've got it at a relatively high height, not at all right up on the string, but probably when I press the string down on the 22nd fret, I've got about 2 nickels worth of clearance here on the strings, on the bass side anyway, and probably more like a nickel and a half on the treble side. So yeah, I don't have much more time, but let's just see what happens when we turn the gain up real stupid. This is the only complaint about the Pulse guitar, okay? The SE Pulse guitar, it's a real thing. I hate to have to say it. The tuners and or the nut. I think the tuners are probably fine, although a little clunky. Might be the nut or the nut cut or whatever. Tuning, you gotta really work it. You really gotta stretch your strings. Not the most forgiving on the strings passing back and forth here, so it's not uncommon for me to tune this guitar, and oh boy, it's in tune, and the next thing I know, it's sharp, because I actually tuned too far, and the string was caught on one side of the nut, and then it relaxed and was able to go where it actually is. You're hearing it through the video, right? It's kind of rough. Here's the other thing. Cheaped out with GHS boomers on this, they're awful. I don't like to say that about any product. They're bad, don't buy them. So let's blame the boomers. Popular strategy amongst millennials. This video is pretty unwatchable, huh? Y'all are crazy. Metal with no pick, let's see. It's real hard, it turns out. One last shot with a pick, the ultimate crutch. People loved these pickups back in the 70s when you were you didn't have a freaking Helix and you wanted to get a lot out of what you had. I've got an amplifier, I've got a guitar, I've got 2 pickups, a volume knob, and a pickup selector, and that's what was happening through the amp. I think it's impressive. I love what Larry DiMarzio did, I love what they're still doing, and I love pickups and I love guitars. What do you love? I also love incense, rocks, dogs, coffee, X-Men, and Ninja Turtles. That's an exhaustive list. I don't love anything else. Oh, also my family. Love y'all. All right, y'all. Take care. Guitars Run Live. Don't you forget it. We'll see you next time.